Welcome back to the CBTC, guys. Got a lot of stuff to cover for you, so I'm just gonna dive right into it. As many of you guys know, or recognize this is a invert mini. For the price range, this was a really, for the most part, a lot of people getting into the sport or looking to get a gun for their wife or their kid. It's got a smaller stance between the grip frame and the foregrip, which accommodates for smaller handed people or short arms people. But for the most part, I mean, it comes with a pretty good, it's a 12-inch barrel, it's kind of a big bore, not very much porting in it. Clamping feed neck, which had its own realm of problems when people would dive into snake, or when they would fall on their gun, or when they would drop their gun, or just dive, period, in the dirt. The feed necks would break off. And trying to replace this feed neck, it's epoxied into place. So for some people, it was kind of a pain in the butt. For the most part, it takes different Allen keys to remove the foregrip, remove the grip frame, to pull the bolt out, remove the grips, to adjust the output pressure of your regulator. So multiple Allen keys, and the triggers, they were a Hall effect trigger. So the magnet on top of the trigger, if you were to adjust it all the way out, the magnet would come off into your trigger frame, and then your gun wouldn't go bang. Most of the time, when a mini won't fire, it's because the magnet on the body falls out and disappears. So there's no other magnet on the opposite side of the circuit board for it to register a trigger fire or trigger pull. So these guns had their own realm of problems. But as far as getting into the sport, it's a fantastic gun. Just trying to maintain it and problem solve some of the issues that it has was kind of a pain in the ass. Along with the adjusting velocity in the back, it was a bigger Allen key. So you had to have multiple Allen keys to operate this gun. But as some of you may know, this is the Mini GS, which has, first thing, it has relatively the same size Allen keys everywhere. From the grips to these grips, to the frame, to even chronoing the gun on the back side here. You can see that it's a much smaller Allen key. It's like they threw a bolt in the back where the normal hex Allen, or the bigger hex, would go into. Adjusting the regulator, or the output pressure right here, is the same Allen key. So for the most part, they're trying their best to accommodate, to make it easier for you, the player. As you can probably see on the Vanquish, it has one Allen key for the entire gun. But there are some smaller size Allen keys that you will need in order to take off the detents and stuff like that. So the barrel, it has some cool milling in it. The porting, there's more porting holes, and the holes are actually bigger from the older model. The feed neck, however, it actually has an insert, and as you can see right here, it's the glass reinforced nylon plastic feed neck. So if you wanted to have an all metal one, because I know that a lot of you guys do like to have metal and some of you guys don't like plastic, this is the Resurrection, or in the Sniper. This is the Empire metal feed neck, which you can actually just unscrew that one, get one of these from Empire, and throw it right onto there, and it'll work just fine. So getting a black one or a gray one, try to match it up. That's up for you guys to decide. But ever since the Axes came out, I'm sure some of you probably know that they came out with the low pro feed neck, which they had out for a while and discontinued it for whatever reason, probably because people were breaking their feed necks off trying to remove this one, because it is epoxied into place. The early models were Loctite into place, so you can actually remove all the circuit boards and everything, or the eye board and everything, and the detents, and you could take a lighter and you could warm up this feed neck area, put a socket in there and just kind of break it loose. But a lot of people were breaking their guns because they didn't know that it had Loctite in there, so they would snap off the threads right in here. So they epoxy them into place so that it's really hard to take off. But these still have a problem with diving and snapping off. So they discontinued the low pro feed neck for whatever reason, and these are now the standard ones. So if you wanted to, you could get that for your Mini GS. And as you could probably notice, they have the addition of like a red line feel and grip to the outside of it. And I don't know if Russell can get in here, but you can see this rubber strip right here. I can only assume that eventually down the road, they're going to release a drop-in LCD screen kit for this, much like the Redline. So keep your eyes open for that. If you're looking for, possibly putting a screen on this, most likely they will come out with it, because the board is right behind this thing. So I can only assume that a screen can go there eventually. So powering this thing on, this is one thing that I thought that should have happened in the first place. Actually, let me show you with this gun first. So as you power it on, it'll go green and then red, right? Which common sense, you would think it would be backwards, right? So when you turn it off, it goes red and then green. Green meaning that it's safe, I guess? That it's safe that it's off, or it's not good to go. I don't know, whatever, it doesn't make sense, right? So on this, it goes red then green, and then it has a slow blinking green light, meaning that the eyes are on and there's no ball in the breech. As you put a ball in the breech, it does 2 quick blinks and then pauses. If you hold it down for less than a second, it goes into fast blinking green, which means that the eyes are off, which you can hear the solenoid fire, the solenoid cycle. This is how you dry fire your gun. And turn it off, you hold down the button, it goes red, which means that it's off. It's good, right? Really happy. as much as a small kind of upgrade or change that this is, I'm really glad that they did it, because it's very clear and understandable. So bringing on to the trigger, as I was saying before about the older Mini, it has a Hall effect, which has a magnet, and there's a magnet on the body, there's a magnet on the trigger, and as those two forces go away from each other, the magic inside the gun makes the gun go bang, tells the solenoid to go to cycle. This, however, has a micro switch, which is I'm very happy about. No more magnets, no more trying to find the correct magnet with the correct strength and trying to re-epoxy it into the body, or sending out a customer's gun because the magnet fell off, and then them being out a gun for a week because just to glue a little stupid magnet onto the body. So this, thank you Empire, it makes, I'm sure many of us techs out there will be happy that this is a micro switch now. It makes our lives a lot easier, and it makes your lives a lot easier. On-off ASA, the regulator inside here is still non-serviceable, or they don't recommend that you do it. There is a company, bosspaintball.com, that they sell a tool that will go into the backside of this ASA, so you can service it. See, it's got like a little weird plus sign thing going on in there. So you can service it if you know what you're doing. I don't recommend that you do it if you have never opened one of these up before or never seen somebody do it before. The easiest way to lube the regulator and keep your solenoid happy is by doing a couple of drops of light oil into the 2 holes. I know for a fact you can't get a shot on that. There's 2 holes inside the ASA. If you drop some lightweight oil like plain eclipse grease or Tri-Flow into those 2 holes and air up the gun, dry fire it, and take your barrel off, put a rag over it. Shoot into the rag so there's no oil on the inside of your barrel. It'll flow through the regulator, lube it up, and keep your solenoid nice and happy and lubed instead of dry. If you have any questions about the Mini GS, email into support@hustlepaintball.com. But be patient for the full-length review, which I'm sure we're going to be doing between now and whenever it comes out. So a quick answer as far as efficiency goes, as far as we could tell, the Bolt engine did not change at all. So probably the efficiency numbers that you're used to getting on your regular Mini or your older Mini, you'll probably get the same numbers as this. But as you probably saw earlier when I had this on here, this is the SL90. It doesn't look like an SL, or it doesn't look like a 90 cubic inch tank on the back of the Mini, right? This right here, as you can do the old Dynasty test of putting the butt of the tank into your armpit, or into the crease of your arm right here. I mean, this is playable. This is a Mini GS. I've got fairly long arms. As you can tell, the stance is still kind of small on the Mini GS, but with the 90 on here, I mean, you could pull off your ollie laying, 12 pods, however many pods you can carry, and shoot all day. You could probably play tournaments with this gun and this tank. I mean, for a 90 SL tank, this is playable. You don't have to be Dave Baines in order to go play with a 90 cubic inch and have a lot of air. Just because it's 90 cubic inch doesn't mean that you have to have it on your back with a remote line and have, you know, a tactical looking gun. You can put this on the back of pretty much any of these guns and be able to shoot some ungodly amounts of paint. So speaking of SL tanks, as you guys probably have heard or seen, this is the new 77 SL, and they're all coming in colors. This is the blue one. As you can tell, it's a very good kind of navy deep blue up front, and then kind of lighter blue in the back. It's got multiple shades through it. It looks very pretty, very beautiful. As there's some fingerprints all over it, because apparently I finger blast guns all the time, says some people in some Bop-On group on Facebook, those guys. Anyway, so it's a very beautiful tank on the DM XX limited blue, XX DM14. You can tell that it matches very well. So even if I grab this Waffle LV1 here, this Dynasty Waffle, matches very well, pretty damn close, which looks good on this gun. However, if you look at the Super Blue Teal, the blue that's on the Super Blue, you can tell that it's a bit lighter. So if you're into matching your gun, if you're into matching, you know, your tank, gun, loader, you know, this will actually be pretty close for you guys to have blue guns or blue setups. And what we were really pleased about was this blood red Ninja SL77. The picture does not do this tank justice. We're trying our best to make it, or to show you how deep red, how blood red this tank is. It just looks like you've been playing paintball and murdering people, and this is the blood of your foes staining into the carbon fiber webbing of your tank. So it's you know, these tanks are really gorgeous. They're really pleased about how they came out. Much better than the Candy series that they did a couple years ago. Even though those, up until now, were the hottest colors, I guess you could say, if you can get your hands on one. So this is on the DM Iron Man XX limited edition. And it actually matches pretty well. I mean, see here, old mini. Matches pretty good. See here on the Planet gun, on this GL 3.1, that would look pretty damn sharp on there. I mean, Ninja got pretty much the three main colors of pretty much what everybody uses: red, blue, green, or black. They got them all pretty dialed in as far as what majority of the colors are out there. And this LV1, this Kryptonite LV1 here, with the lime tank on the back, which we were really excited about. The product pictures on our website don't really do these tanks justice. I mean, look at that. That's like a perfect match. To give you an idea how it looks against the Poison Ivy, which is the last year's colorway of the green-bodied LV1. It's close, but not quite close enough. So, you know, if you're running some kind of green gun and you want to have a matching tank with more air than a 68, and it matches your gear and it's lighter than your 68, these 77s are the bee's knees. One of the coolest things about Ninja and their product line that they're coming out with, they made it easy for you to decide. You see this ball rig right here, which with the increased flow allows you to drop the operating pressure or the inlet pressure of your tank, and you won't get any recharging issues. With this increased flow of the ball end, they are now including it on all their standard tanks. So say your Steely 48 3K Ninja tank, it's gonna come standard with the ball reg on it, or the ball reg in it, on it. So it's going to be pretty much a no-brainer as far as which tanks you should buy. I mean, do you see other competitor tanks doing, or Ninja's competitors doing anything as far as inventing new regs or making your bottles lighter and hold more air? No. So it's pretty much the new standard, and it'll be exciting to see what other companies, other air supply companies will do to answer that. And while we're talking about regs, I wanted to show you guys something. So for those of you guys that have DMs and you are very familiar with this on-off little knob thing, right? In the winter, or if you have for whatever reason, if you had a SHP on there, you would know that flicking or the turning this on is it strains your fingers, right? It's hard when it's in the winter, you're turning your gun on, fingers hurt, and you can't really click this thing over to air up your gun. So what Ninja recommends that you guys do is go to their website, or if you buy a tank, you'll have a manual. Look in the manual. Before you air up your tank, you're gonna want to remove the bonnet, or if you order from us, in the order instructions, you can request what output pressure you want, so that way we can adjust it for you before we ship it to you. Makes your life a lot easier. But you're gonna want to lower the operating pressure of your reg. What that does is it makes it easier for you to flick this lever, or if you have a POPs, if you lower the operating pressure, it'll make this a lot easier to engage. So recently, a lot of Planted Clips guys have been complaining about how you can't engage this. Well, naturally, as we've been doing for however long POPs have been out, you just take your 2 fingers and engage it, right? And then your gun's on. But much like firearms, when you do a safety class and say people that aren't strong enough to rack their gun or chamber the first round, they tell you to grab it like this and engage it with your upper body strength. So you go against yourself, engaging, loading that first round into the chamber. It's the same thing with this. So if you're in a habit of going like this to air up your gun, blah, 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 I'm airing up my gun, where are you going further? Where are you going? Are you going to the can, blah, 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 air up your gun, blah, blah, blah. You can't really do that if it's got the standard 800 PSI pressure. So for a lot of you guys that want to keep it 800 PSI output, you don't want to mess with your reg or whatever, just put your gun like this, cross your body, and use your entire upper body strength. It gives you much more leverage, and you can actually engage that POPs. So for those of you guys that have been having trouble with that, there's your answer. So moving on to the most anticipated thing ever since World Cup PBE is the T15. We finally got these in. If you are just now learning about this gun and you place an order, just know that you're going to be towards the back of the line. The small handful that we've got are going to people that placed their orders when we announced that these were going to be released. So they've been waiting since before New Year's. So these are pretty damn awesome. It's a 1-to-1 scale AR-15, and here comes Jay to talk more about it because he knows more about it than I do.
Guest starring today on Erik Cromer's Behind the Counter is Jay, me. I'm not actually Erik. What I do have, finally, is a T15. As you guys saw back in February, I think it was, when we saw these at PBE, well, guess what? They're finally real, and we can stop making fun of Tiberius for saying they're coming out April 1st.
First week of April. First week of April, so here at first.
April 1st week, April 1st.
Well, apparently, on their calendars, April 1st is in July. But they're here now, so all jokes aside, all things will probably be forgiven. We did notice some interesting and fun facts about the T15. It still has the same breakdown as before. You take the takedown pin out, it comes open, just like you guys saw at PBE. We did notice something, the dust cover here, yeah, you open it, it appears to be milled for a first strike round. Now, of course, you can't put it in there. You have to like rotate the barrel, and the thing. There we go. It'll rotate it in place, and you're like, okay, that's pretty cool. Now, this does come with a couple downsides. The first is that now Tiberius is the proud owner of a new barrel threading system. So now they have 2. They have T8.1, 9.1, and T15 threads, which are different and non-compatible. What's further interesting is, since it's a first strike breach, the first thing that came to mind was that Tippmann Magfed adapter. So it's like, oh, quick, I need extra mags. I'm gonna have a mag in here. Right? That's kind of silly. Not entirely certain why, or who knows? Maybe Tiberius is coming out a way to make a agitating force-fed hopper that'll load first strikes. In case everyone comes into a lot of money recently, and they really want to get rid of all of it. That's a really good way to do it. But what has changed since the PVE models? Well, it still has charging handle. It's a Bushmaster ACR. It just is. Really good markings. Feels very solid in your hands. The mag well and mags fit together very positively. Feel very good. They will definitely break in a little bit, but you know, it feels very positive. It does use the kind of older style like stock bar thing, which rattles, so that's going to be your best friend with some Loctite down here. Still all the standard AR furniture. It does come with a tank, which is cool. Comes with one of these Gorilla 13s, and it comes with an on-off check valve thing to save the ASA, which we don't have anywhere here, but you guys will see it in the real review. It does accept all standard AR furniture. I know Dash actually this is his. Dash is going to put pink Magpool furniture on it because, you know, Dash is a ginger and clearly has no fashion sense. Still got the threaded tip, uses all the civilized threaded tips like that Lapco, Tiberius, and I think Hammerhead are the other people. So you can probably put an Apex on it if you really wanted. Different style flash hiders, stuff like that. So that'll be cool. Standard stocks, I believe. You'll obviously need an adapter because that's not a real stock bar. All the standard pistol grips. Yeah, and like I said, it does still come apart just as easily as before. I guess I can show you guys if I can do it here in a reasonable amount of time. Dash has stronger hands than me. Ugh. Yeah, okay. Maybe? There we go. All right, still ratchets open. Cool, right? Again, if you guys have ever taken apart a T8.1 or T9.1, you know that is the worst thing in the world. Rotate it out. Spring guide, spring. Charging handle. We'll pull out the other bits. All polyurethane O-rings, and that's it. That is surprisingly easy to work on. We, of course, will have playing videos, and I believe Dash is going to do the review. He's earned that since this is his marker. But that's pretty much it for the T15. They're here, they're in stock. We're still trying to catch up with pre-orders. We haven't shot it yet because it's been a busy day. One of the things we haven't had a chance to test is the fact that on the other side, like they promised, I believe this one doesn't come set for full auto, but they will either have a new grip frame or the parts to make it go full auto mechanically. So that's really cool. It doesn't come stock without the box, though the safety makes it look like it should. It just won't go that far. So semi out of the box, we'll take all the standard AR furniture. It'd be larger trigger guards, the whole bit. Yeah, that's T15. It's finally here. We're finally going to be able to start filling pre-orders, and it's our initial impressions is this is what Magfed players have wanted pretty much since forever. So yeah. Now back to Erik, I think, probably. Ding!
Thanks, Jay. Appreciate all that information. He's not really there. So to wrap up all of this, guys, I know I've said it multiple times in previous reloads and counters and combination reload counters. We do have T2s in stock from time to time. So for whatever reason, there's a lot of you guys out there that don't think that we are a CCM dealer and you have to go directly through CCM. We do have a customization form that you can find on our website, and you can do any color Frankenstein combination of hideousness that you want. So if you are curious to see what we have in stock, I know Ben's trying his hardest, his damnedest to get pictures of these things up and upload onto the website. But for whatever reason, if it's like a rough week here at Hustle and we can't get caught up on product photos, if you just email or call in and say, hey, what T2s do you have in stock? Or, you know, well, I guess there's only the T2s that you can get because 6.5s don't exist. And what's the other one?
J12 got canned.
The J12 is in the trash, got canned. Whatever, I'm not sure. But as far as right now, the T2s are the only things that you can get. So if you wanted one and you didn't feel like waiting the month and a half, 2 months to to wait for your custom gun, and you would say, not necessarily settle, but like say you like the pewter and dust purple, or the gloss black and silver, or gloss white? No, silver. I didn't say gloss white, because that doesn't exist anymore. Or the CU buffs black and gold. The Jensen.
I never asked for this.
Atlantic, like the GO3. The Atlantic polished, yeah, it's the one he made actually. It's the polished blue and polished teal, which is pretty damn handsome. Or the brown and pewter, gloss pewter. I mean, all these guns, right? Say, for example, you're watching this 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, and some of these haven't sold. Email in, like I've been pounding into your heads or your ears by now. Just email in, call us, ask us what we have in stock. You can even hit us up on Facebook. I can respond to you there about what we have. A lot of these guns, some of them they include full barrel kits that match. Some of them are actually, it looks like every single one of these have matching fittings. Some of these have grips that are anode to match. Some of them don't. So, if you're curious on what we have in stock, again, email us or call us. But pretty much that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the counter, and hopefully there'll be more to come here shortly. But you guys stay classy and have fun.
And I've been waiting for so I can.
Yeah, by the way, it fell over like twice.